Good morning, everybody. All right, today we're working with our summer reading book, and I want you to be able to look at my notes for the Elie Wiesel Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech. So if you could model your notes similar, I promise it's going to help next week when we start our summative assessment over our books. So purple means purpose, and then green means exigence. But I wanted to show you that I modeled everything after these questions that we've been looking at this week, as well as how we talked about claims as well. So for purpose, what does the writer hope to accomplish within the book, and what claims does the writer make in support of their purpose? So a lot of the times their purpose is spelled out for you in the introduction, and each of the chapters tend to be different types of claims. So I don't need every single claim. I just need for you to make an inference on which would be the most purposeful in terms of what they're trying to accomplish. So for the acceptance speech, right, notice my concrete and concise phrases. To implore his global audience to remember the sufferings of the past and actively work to stop current acts of oppression and abuse. And then I put in blue what the main claims were. We must always remain aware of the sufferings of others, past and present. And here's the evidence from this speech, right? What's in blue is my words. That's what I'm summing up together based on the reading. And then I'm finding concrete places in the text. The second claim, we have a duty to our fellow humans not only to expose human rights abuses and threats to freedom, but also to do what we can to stop them. And then again, there's further pieces of evidence. And then when we look at exigence, right, the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony was the occasion, but the reason for the award and the reason for his nomination and ultimately his actual being the recipient of the reward was different, right? So notice how I'm using the verbiage. If you go back to the definition or the question, what inspired, stimulated, provoked, or prompted. And a lot of the times, if you use those words rather than exigence, you're still accomplishing the same thing. Okay, so Wiesel's speech is inspired by the urgent plight of human suffering, his own and that of others, and his desire to end it. Additionally, his words are provoked by those who would abuse others, as well as those who choose to remain indifferent to the violence and injustices that plague our world. So there are similar things, right? Which is what makes it kind of difficult to tease out some of these different details. But if you look, a lot of the times it's using specific language that is pointed toward what these questions are asking for. And that's really how you kind of comb through some of the nuances between the different types of concepts, okay? And then, of course, you'll see my evidence here. So I just made you a little note that the term exigence, while we practiced, yesterday, typically going forward, we don't necessarily say the exigence is, right? We never really say the purpose is. We say so-and-so analyzes this by this, or so-and-so, implores people to do these things. And so sometimes we don't always have to anchor to those concepts that I'm giving you. So I want you to mess around with that, play around with that. If you need to use the term exigence, go for it, try it. But this is all about putting together a lot of our ideas and then finding places in the text for us to pinpoint and prove these things, because you will need them next week. And then today's discussion board response is fairly simple. In just 2 to 3 sentences, I want you to focus on purpose or exigence of your summer reading book and briefly explain how you arrived at that response. And then the title of your book as well as the author. I don't need text evidence. I just want you to start resonating with what is the purpose or what is the exigence, and use your resources from this week to help you craft those responses. Okay? All right, and then that's all for today. Okay, and then we'll move on into a more in-depth look at our summer reading piece next week. So if you're still working through finishing it, make every effort to try to read as much of it as you can, or reread as much of it as you can within reason. Okay, have a great weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday.